By running a process with Yale, what you're going to do is you're going to be in control of the timeline and you're going to make sure your property is fully exposed to the entire marketplace. This will result in a 95% first contract closing ratio. That's the beauty of the Yale process. We're able to close 95% of those purchases with the first buyer selected at 99% of the original purchase price. This is just opposed to direct contracts that probably close at somewhere between 30 and 50% of the time.
Yale's process kicks off by gathering information, asking thorough questions, putting together a thorough valuation, and coming up with a smart price. What I mean by smart pricing is not overpromising and under-delivering. It's coming up with a value that encourages buyers to engage in our process, participate in our process, understand where they're comfortable making an offer, and by having 10 or 15 offers, naturally you're going to bid up the value, and not only just the price, but the terms, and you are eliminating the uncertainty of closing.
And like Harrison said, we're going to use smart pricing. We're going to use the right price up front to maximize the number of bidders. Then with competition, we're going to get you the last 5 or 10%. We're also going to ensure with that contract that we've got non-refundable money and we have a high rate of execution. What we've noticed consistently is the brokerage community is incentivized to overpromise and then underdeliver. We see it all the time where the owners will get a broker's opinion of value that's 20 to 25% higher than they ultimately transact at. Yale promises that we're not going to overpromise and underdeliver. That's why we use smart pricing. We look at the property, we look at the entire potential of the property, and then we fully expose it to the marketplace and let the marketplace determine what top dollar is through a bid process. That's why we consistently close within 1 or 2% of our broker opinion of value. We've seen deals that have went as much as 10% higher than our broker opinion of value, and at the most we will maybe be 3% high on the valuation. There's two different scenarios we see play out. I've received many calls from folks that were under contract for multiple times, even 60, 90, 120 days, and those deals fell out, or the buyer came back and asked for a significant renegotiation is what we'd say. And that was when the owner just said, no, you know what, you've crossed the line, we're not going to transact with you. So we get those calls, and that's usually when they'll engage with a broker, when they've decided that they're tired of trying to sell it themselves and they really don't know which buyers are going to be good to work with, which buyers have a good track record. This is an ideal opportunity for Yale to run a process to the entire market. There's another group of owners we receive calls from often, and these are owners that are just frustrated. They've been negotiating with a number of buyers, and they feel like they're not getting their top dollar. I'll give you an example. I got a call from a client that's now really became a very close friend of mine. He was trying to sell his property for about $22 million and had been negotiating with 4 different buyers directly for months, if not years. We looked at it briefly and just said, this property is probably worth mid-20s. We took that property out at $25 million. With a 5-week process, we ended up at $27 million with multiple bidders and had a very smooth closing. The buyer was thrilled. It was a perfect fit for the buyer. They've been able to add a lot of value to that property, improve the property. And the seller was thrilled because they got to have one contract that closed smoothly, and they were able to get much more than they thought they were going to get for their property. The lesson learned here, and this is what the seller told me, is that the direct buyers are not trying to pay you top dollar. They're looking for a bargain. The other problem is you're only talking to a small segment of the market. So for those buyers, that might have been top dollar, but really the best fit for that property had never even been exposed to it. So I really do encourage you to talk to one of our trusted advisors. It's simple. Pioneers take arrows. You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know if they're a great buyer. You don't know if they have a poor reputation. That's our job. We work with all these buyers. We do over 100 transactions a year. We keep a thorough database of which buyers are closing, which buyers are renegotiating, and which buyers are going to give you the best price and the best offer. What we've consistently found is there is no one best buyer. So any buyer that says they're going to give you the best offer is probably misleading you. It needs to be exposed to the market, and the market will decide who's the best buyer, who can give you the best terms. There's so many variables. Do they own a property in that market? Do they have another property nearby? Do they have a new equity partner that they need to make their first deal with? There are a plethora of variables, and there is no one consistent best buyer. Hire Yale to run a process to get you the top dollar from the right buyer for your property at that time.
When owners sell direct, they're working in a vacuum. The buyer has leverage over the seller. They can ask for extensions, come up with reasons why they can't execute on their contract terms, and the seller doesn't have backup. They don't have backup offers. They may have received other offers over the years, but nothing that can replace the current buyer quickly. When you run a call for offers process and you have 5, 6, 7 legitimate backup offers, if a buyer plays games, you can just let the deal die and go back to your backup buyers and see who is ready to step into the previous buyer's shoes.
So instead of promising sellers more than their property's worth just to get them under a listing agreement, we believe the marketplace will ultimately determine the price and the value. So we expose your property to the maximum number of real bidders and let them ultimately drive the bid to what top dollar is, but at a price that they can actually execute at, because we've fully underwritten the property. We have a financing division, and we have 5 underwriters in our team to make sure we've fully, thoroughly vetted that property and understand the financials. And we're setting your deal up for the highest rate of execution. Again, this is why 95% of our deals that we run a process on close at roughly 99% of the original purchase price, on time, on schedule, and on purchase.
The Yale process is designed to get you the best price at the best terms with the best buyer. For example, I'm working on a deal right now. One of the largest owners in the country fell out of contract. The seller contacted us, we ran a thorough evaluation for them, took it to market at a smart price, and now we'll have 5 to 7 bids for them to work with. Another great example of the Yale process, a client of ours contacted us, had been interested in selling in the past, but most of the offers that he had ever received direct were below 40 million. The best offer he had ever received was 40 million, and that was not a number that he was willing to transact. We collected the information from him, put together a valuation, and got him $46 million.
Recently, I was contacted by an owner who was looking at the refinance market with rates being up, was a little concerned about a property that they're involved with in Florida, decided that they wanted to just dispose of that property, end the partnership, and take a profit. We took the property to market at $8.7 million, which was well within their comfort range. They were very happy with that number. Through a call for offers process, we were able to gather about 12 bids. In the best and final, we ended up at $9.4 million with $150,000 non-refundable at signing. That transaction closed very smoothly despite being hit by 2 hurricanes. Incredibly, smooth execution. The seller called me at the end of the transaction and just said, "James, I really never believed that the call for offers process would work this smoothly. This is a sophisticated operator with over 20 properties." And he told me, he said, "I believe this was just another broker pitch, but I trusted you because we've done so much business together on the buy side. I let you run your process," and he said the process could not have ran better and more smoothly. So Yale is a very active brokerage shop. There's constantly deals coming to market. Literally every week we're launching new listings around the country. So please subscribe to our buyers list, and please visit our website often and to look at the newest listings as well as the recently closed transactions, whether it be from the financing division or the brokerage division. And please engage with us. If you have any questions, we have a regional director in your region that can tell you about transactions in your region, that can tell you about pricing in your region, and we'll give you an honest, real evaluation. We're not going to overpromise. We're not going to lie to you to get you tied up. In a listing agreement, we're going to deliver real results, and we're going to make realistic promises that we can deliver on.
Each year, we're doing about $2 billion in free valuations. If you're curious, you don't have to be a motivated seller. Reach out to us. We'll put together a valuation for you today.
At Yale Advisors, we look forward to serving you and providing you the best results in the marketplace from an honest, competent, and thorough team. Call us today. We have many references we'd be happy to share with you. We promise to give you high quality service, honest, direct, thorough answers, and overall the best coverage and the best national team you could work with in the industry.